Far off, in a distant world, a group of characters brought to life have before them a prophecy they must fulfill. Many stories have been shared about them, and yet new authors have stepped forward. This world is meant to be a second chance for creativity and free expression, and yet the poet's license has been revoked as fiction becomes reality. Daniel as Zorro. Alex as Winnie the Pooh. Jen as Vanessa Helsing. Kayla as Alice. Taylor as Dr. John H. Watson, and Justin as your dungeon master. Will this litany of literary heroes be able to live up to their legends? Or better yet, can they write their own? So You Wanna Be a DM presents The Public Domain. Hey gang, welcome to So You Wanna Be a DM presents The Public Domains. I'm Justin, I'm gonna be your dungeon master for this limited series. Joined with me today are an incredible cast of players who are going to tell some interesting stories together. Now, let's get into some introductions. You can introduce yourself, who you're going to be playing, plug to any social media or business accounts or whatever you are wanted to do, and we'll go from there.
Fabulous. I'm Jen. I'm going to be playing Vanessa Helsing, obviously a twist on Van Helsing. I am on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch as Cancer Moon Cleric. Hopefully stream here soon, but I'm excited.
Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel. You can find me on TikTok and on YouTube as Daniel the DM. I'm excited to be here, and today I will be playing Zorro, the Masked Vigilante.
Hi, everybody. I'm Taylor. I'm the other half of So You Want to Be a DM. We're on Spotify. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're all over the place. Come find us. And tonight I will be playing Dr. John Watson.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex. And today I will be, well, not just today, but throughout this campaign, I will be playing Winnie the Pooh. And you can always find me on Instagram or TikTok, although I should be posting a lot more often as Pisces Moon Paladin. And yeah, I'm also on Let's Start Playing Games, doing paid games if anyone is ever curious who wants to hop on there as well.
Rad. Hi, everybody. I'm Kayla. I am a TTRPG player and podcaster. You can find me and my co-host on the Potions of Potpourri podcast. And tonight I'll be playing Alice Little.
Incredible. I am so looking forward to this. Okay. Well, without further ado, I think we should just get right into it. Everyone ready to play some D&D?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's play some D&D.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Loosen this tie. Okay.
Oh, man. The tie's getting loose. We're in trouble.
It started off immediately. It was much colder in my room when I put this outfit together. Let's get into it. Okay. Our story takes place in a far-off world, distant yet familiar. These lands are called the public domains and are home to all of our heroes. Some want to fight to make this a better place, while others are willing to burn it all just for the chance to escape. We do not start at the beginning. Our team of literary legends have already gotten the call from King Arthur by way of Merlin, a creepy old man who knows magic. Deep in the jungles of Skull Island, there lies a hidden tomb. Inside, there are clues to some strange circumstances taking place across the public domains. Who knows what they will find, because their mission isn't over yet. In fact, we jump right into that story. We find ourselves in the center of Skull Island. Days of traveling through dense rainforest, following winding rivers, until you reach a ziggurat-like temple with water flowing down its sides. But the five of you are not alone. You were all in pitched combat with a 30-foot tall gorilla. It has taken some damage, as have all of you, And with that, we're going to jump immediately into initiative. Vanessa Helsing, would you like to describe what your character looks like as they are in the middle of combat against this massive royalty of a gorilla? Some would say a queen, and tough too, very resilient, almost like that brand of dog toys. What is it? Kong or something like that. Just so many adjectives are coming to mind about this giant gorilla. And yet you guys are joining together, fighting this massive gorilla. I want to know what Vanessa looks like and what you're doing this turn.
Wonderful. So if we look over to this giant creature, she's probably got her whip around the wrist, and she's dangling there, shooting at it with her crossbow. She is a dark, brooding individual, dark eyes, dark, long hair. She is draped head to toe in studded leather. It seems to be the only thing that she wears. And yet it looks breathable. It doesn't look like it's stifling. Sweat on her brow, of course. Gaunt, sunken in cheekbones. And she just is very focused and locked in.
Okay, fantastic. And on this turn, you are remaining latched onto the gorilla's wrist as you're firing crossbow bolts?
Absolutely.
Okay, incredible. As we see the gorilla swinging its arms, bringing you along for the ride, you firing crossbows as fast as you can before having to reload. The screen for a moment becomes shrouded in dark clouds, almost ink-like, as we are transported to a flashback for Vanessa Helsing. We find ourselves inside of a smoky, almost gothic-style bar. We are inside of the Artemis. And sitting at the bar is Vanessa Helsing. Bartender behind the counter is a tall individual, wide barrel chest, is wearing like a simple vest over a dress shirt that has those little like sleeve cuff things, and has the face of almost like a squid. As you're familiar with this bar, this is the Artemis. This is where monster hunters go. This is like a clandestine, members only kind of place. And the bartender just happens to be Cthulhu.
Fabulous. Of course, obviously.
You've just finished a successful monster hunt, having taken down the Invisible Man. But you're here waiting for a rendezvous with the client, with the person who hired you. And as Cthulhu pours another shot of, what is Vanessa drinking?
Vanessa is drinking an amber type of liquid. I wasn't prepared for this question. Probably just a double whiskey neat, just straight glass of whiskey.
Incredible. As you're drinking it, a person comes up behind you and takes a seat next to you at the bar. But your keen monster hunting perception skills, you feel this person coming before they actually take their seat. Seated next to you is a human man, appears to be wearing a very nice waistcoat, button-down shirt with a bow tie and a sort of vest that's buttoned up, black, long, slightly curly hair, and a thin mustache. As this man sits next to you, he turns to you and he says, "Well, hello there. What are you drinking? Maybe I'll buy the next round."
No thanks.
All right, fair enough. Well, I do still owe you a payment, Vanessa Helsing, seeing as you took out the Invisible Man from me.
Mm-hmm. But my price is doubled.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Make a persuasion check. It's ethically a wild move to change the price after you've killed the person.
Well, it was
Like an assassin being
harder.
like, now it's more.
Definitely harder. Obviously, he was. Nat 20, baby, for
Let's
23.
go.
Wow, incredible.
That's
First roll of the
Witcher
game.
negotiation tactics.
Yeah. Okay. He like kind of chuckles a little bit. Well, all right. I appreciate your business savviness. Next time I'll be sure to get a contract drawn up before I agree to hiring outside help for future problems.
Yeah. Next time you'll tell me everything there is to know before I get sent on a mission. I don't like surprises.
Well, he was the invisible man.
Yeah, but you didn't tell me.
Some things are going to be unforeseen.
The dog, the invisible dog, really?
I didn't know he had a dog. He seemed like a cat person to me.
No. I'm sure there might have been one, but the dog.
Well, I'm sorry for the dog. I'm already going to pay you double. I think we can call it even there. Next time you're in the city of Brass, look me up.
I think not.
All right, but if you know, it just leaves a business card at the like underneath your coaster kind of, and hands you a large sack of gold. We didn't discuss how currency works in this world. Gold.
Perfect. She just looks at it.
And he heads off. You look at the business card before doing whatever you're going to do with it. I can only imagine.
Set my drink on it.
You see the name Dorian Gray.
Of course.
An individual you've heard of as a big shaker, a big mover and shaker, especially in the city of Brass.
Pretty boy.
No doubt. 100%. But make an insight check.
Ooh. Insight. I got it. 23.
23. You do feel like he puts on pretty boy vibes?
Mm.
You think he is not... There are many aspects of the stereotype that he does not fit. He's not like just a rich, dumb idiot.
Huh.
He's significantly, like, you can sense a level of cleverness to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That in some ways makes it worse.
Reminds her of a book she read.
Probably got a self-portrait, this guy. Yeah, absolutely has a self-portrait.
This seems like the type.
And with that, as you go to get another, to call Cthulhu to get another beverage, you see that there is something in like your coat pocket. Like in the time that Dorian Gray came and spoke to you facing one way, like the jacket pocket on the other side, it seems that somebody slipped something in. As you pull it out, you see kind of burned around the edges, this distressed looking piece of paper. It looks like the page from a book, like from a novel. It doesn't have any significance to it. You don't necessarily recognize the book itself or like the text. None of the lines mean anything to you right away. You're looking at this thing. You think that you're missing the cipher. You're missing the piece that has the clues, like the next little piece. Like you know that this piece of paper is important, but without the cipher, there's no way to decode it.
Right.
So
Well,
you'll need to figure out where that decoder is.
she's going to look around the bar because she doesn't like that somebody was able to sneak up and put something in her pocket. Can I do, I don't know, perception? See if anybody looks suspicious or...
I'll say you look around the bar and you know that this place has pretty steep entry fees in the sense that you have to be a member, you have to be a fellow monster hunter in order to even get in. Everyone who can get in already is like a little bit of an upper echelon in terms of skills. Like they're rookies aren't getting into this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you look around, you don't see anybody who is looking more suspicious than anybody else. However, upon looking at that piece of paper a little bit closer, you can notice right on the edge of one of the burn marks towards the top, it's like just the lower half of the letters, kind of, like most of the word was burnt off.
Mm-hmm.
It almost looks like it says the word Dracula.
She smells it.
It's got a frankincense and myrrh, whatever those smell like. Seems to fit the aesthetic, but I don't really know.
Okay. I think she's going to, realizing a little bit of Dracula and that this is going to be important, she moves it from her outer pocket to her inner pocket where she knows nobody can get to.
Incredible. You put it in this other pocket. Save it for later. And with that, the smoke and ink comes across the screen again as we are whisked away back to Vanessa Helsing in mid, like the gorilla swings its arms as Vanessa is flying through the air, attached only by a whip, and is just firing shots in succession. And we move on to our next hero, Zorro.
Hello, my
If you could describe what Zorro looks like, what you are doing during this combat.
Yeah, so crawling out of a small crater, having been thrown into a tree, just blood kind of pouring out the forehead a little bit, pieces of bark poking out of the skin. You see Zorro is wearing just a traditional kind of mantle and cloak that covers up the bottom half of his face. His hat that he normally has been trampled on. It's on the ground, so his long, curly black hair is loose and covered in mud. And his irises glow with this purple hue to it. And has this, just kind of tight-fitting leather, almost like motorcyclist meets like pseudo superhero outfit that he's got going on. And with all of that, he gets up with his rapier in his hand and just goes, "Oh, keep it up. We've got him right where we want him." And is going to stick out his sword and then just kind of do the design of a Z in the air as he casts Hexblade's Curse onto this giant, legally distinct gorilla. And then with this action, we'll go, all right, maximum effort. And we'll run full speed towards the gorilla. And then electricity will begin to gather around the blade. And he will flip it upside down and stab it into the ground and cast Thunder Step as he gets to the base of the gorilla and jump all the way to the top of the gorilla's head. And like, it kind of makes like the lightning bolt that travels, propels him forward, kind of makes a little Z shape as he goes, and then lands on top of the gorilla. So he will take 3d10 damage from that.
Hell yeah. You see as you rush up, stabbing into the ground and thunder stepping, as you teleport with this electrical ability to span this separation and make your way to the top of this gorilla's head, it immediately begins to stumble a little bit as one of its feet takes this lightning damage, and sort of like a hot foot situation, it immediately picks up that foot and sort of stumbles a little bit. Vanessa, you're flying in the air even more. Zorro, as we see you pop up at the top of the head of the gorilla, ink and shadows cover the screen as we are whisked away to the middle of a chase scene. Zorro, you are dashing from rooftop to rooftop as you are being pursued by 2 or 3 masked individuals behind you on the roofs. You also know that in the street itself, there are 2 individuals on horseback and a third behind that one that is driving like a carriage, like recklessly through the street. You hear people screaming to get out of the way as they're rampaging through the street, also following you, but they're on mounts, so they're in the street instead, watching you from a distance. as you are being chased in this moment, what are you doing?
This is a younger Zorro, so there's a lot more padding on like armor around the knees and the elbows, and it's just like, okay, I got this, all right. I just gotta find a way out. I can do this. That's no problem. You just have to not die. That's all you have to do. And we'll just like, it's just going full sprint parkouring as fast as he can, you know, using his dash and cunning action dash, all of these things to try to just run away as fast as possible.
Incredible. As you are sprinting rooftop to rooftop, you overhear the people behind you in pursuit shouting to you, halt! Stop there! Zorro! You are at the end of your line! Captain Ramon, who everybody loves. Everybody loves Captain Ramon. He wants to see you. And we do a hard cut over to Captain Ramon. Sort of middle-aged, average height individual with black hair and a thick mustache, sitting on a couch with his feet up on a coffee table, who just turns and goes, Hey, Deborah, when's the lasagna done? And we hard cut back to the chase scene. Zorro, you are sprinting. As these people they're beginning to catch up to you. What are you going to do? You're also reaching an area where you're either going to have to climb down or make an impossible leap to this other building as you're coming to like an intersection of streets. So the next building, you would have to like jump across an entire street. What are you doing?
So I think he has that kind of that cliche moment of running full speed, not paying attention, and then takes that one step, realizes he's about to fall over the edge, and has to like back up.
A ceiling tile, a floor, like a roof tile falls.
Exactly,
and
a shingle falls. Yeah, and so he's like kind of panicked and looking around and goes, okay, all right, I can do this. It's just a jump. I can just make a jump. And we'll begin to like kind of cast his Eldritch Blast for a second. So a purple chrome revolver appears in his hand. It's like, all right, but just in case, all right, I can do this. It's just a jump and a teleport, a jump and a teleport. And he's trying to hype himself up for it.
Incredible. As you are about to put this rehearsed move into practice, there is a flashback within the flashback of your instructor teaching you this exact move, the teleport and shoot. The jump, teleport, and shoot maneuver. As you are standing on the precipice of a series of bamboo sticks that have all been cut various heights. And as you are like 1 foot on one bamboo stick, 1 foot on another, as you are being trained, coconuts are being thrown at you from your teacher, who is also standing on bamboo sticks, as we see a rather rotund and yet adorable, but also fierce house cat wearing a pair of intense leather boots and a incredible pirate's hat, as we see Puss in Boots training the mighty Zorro in these early days. As Puss in Boots says to you, Zorro, what is going on? Why are you slow? Move faster.
I think he'll take that moment, and then Zorro's just like, kind of has that like, does that deep breath, and that like that deep breath is on that inhale is like going between flashbacks, and it's just like, and then focuses like and centers his breathing, and he goes, I can do this. And it's a cut between me stepping back on bamboo and me stepping on top of the rooftop, and then running forward, jumping, misty stepping to get as far across the street as possible, turning back and firing 2 shots of an Eldritch Blast, and then crashing through another window.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yes.
Rad as hell.
And as you crash through that other window, we hear the crashing of glass as you finish your teleport and wind up on the head of this massive gorilla. And with that, we move on to Dr. John H. Watson. Taylor, if you would be so kind as to describe what your character looks like and what they're doing.
Absolutely. So Watson is a sphinx-born. So basically a humanoid-sized sphinx. Human face, but like the body kind of a lion, like a tabaxi lion. So big furry mane, kind of that same savanna color of like that, like pale brown or whatever. But then also huge wings flapping behind him. And in this fight against Kong, he is flying up near Kong's head, just kind of around. And you'll see he'll go, Sherlock, get him. And a little like barn owl flies over his shoulder and starts pecking at Kong's eyes. And then Watson sweeps in, and his sword lights up really bright as he does a divine smite and just slashes into it.
Incredible. Sherlock the owl pecking away near the eyes of this mighty gorilla as it tries to it does that thing like all kaijus where it seems to be moving in slow motion. As it's trying to bat away this small owl that's pestering it, and you rush up to its lower extremities and this glowing blade in front of you. We sort of do that thing where there's like a sun flare on the lens and the camera sort of is zooming into the glare of the shining blade, and then also transitions to a candle in a small like parlor room. Or like a study almost. There's like a baby grand piano. There's like huge bookshelves, portraits on the wall and stuff like that. Several different chaise lounges. There's too many chaise lounges in here, but you see a couple of those. There's some other upholstered chairs and stuff like that. As Dr. John H. Watson is speaking to a group of people, one of which is a murderer. We have the baker, just a simple man from down the street. We have the priest, a shady looking guy. And of course, we have the miller and who else? And we have the miller. Let's leave it there, actually. We have these three characters. Excuse me, Watson, you're looking around. You've already done most of the investigation. You're looking for that final clue to put the nail in the coffin. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Sure. 19.
Sky Bunny said stretch. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I did a little this.
You said 24?
No, not at all. 19.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. I mean, sure.
Same thing.
24.
Go
with 24. That. It sounds better.
Dr. Watson, you find that missing clue. It's here with you in the room. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Of course it is. Now I will
remind you. You have the baker, the priest,
and the miller. Right. Now, I bet you're wondering why I have you all here. And he's kind of like walking back and forth in front of them, just kind of playing with his mane a little bit. Obviously, a woman's been murdered. We have no cause as to why. One of you three was there. One of you three did it, I bet. But why?
Gasps.
Yes. At first I thought maybe the priest. But upon further investigation, he's just a creepy old man.
The priest nods.
Yeah. Right. But then perhaps the miller. He was the last person seen speaking with her alive. But no. It can't have been him. He's just got nubs for hands. So that only leaves one person. The baker. But why? Again, why? The answer lies in that loaf of bread over there. And he walks over and he rips open the top of the loaf of bread, and there's diamonds inside, like a hollow, like a bread bowl type of situation. Opens it up and it's just full of diamonds. The answer's right here, of course. You were trying to sneak it out with the bread. And she caught on to you, didn't she?
Immediately, police officers come in out of nowhere and start arresting the baker. And as he is being put into handcuffs and being led out of the room, he is arguing and fighting the whole time as he just starts shouting, I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for this consultant detective inspector and his freaking owl. And he is led out of there as Dr. John H. Watson solves yet another crime. And we flash back to our current scene against the gigantic gorilla as a huge glowing blade slices its way through the calf of this beast. And we move on yet again. Alex, if you would like to describe what your character looks like in this moment and what they are doing in this moment.
Hello. I think Winnie the Pooh would be looking pretty fucking ravaged at this moment. Just clumps of fur missing off of their body, blood dried and pooled in random places of them. They are not wearing any pants, they never do, but they wear breastplate armor, all crimson, looking very dented and very scratched at this moment, coming up at about their neckline and resting up just right above their knee, on their big belly. As they are screaming, more like roaring at the top of their fucking lungs, digging a glaive right into the back of this legally distinct gorilla, hanging off the back of it as the glaive is embedded in. They are going to sink their feet in, plunge the glaive out, and as they fall, they're going to toss the glaive right into the back. Right before they make a hard thud on the ground, Misty steps right up next to Zorro. And as a bonus action, I guess they use their bonus action, so they'll pull out a great axe instead and start swinging downwards on the head.
Incredible. Amazing. As you are in the process, you've thrown your glaive, you're at the process of falling backwards. In the moment before you cast that misty step, we are whisked away once again to another area of the public domains, a expansive forest, almost like the Pine Barrens, in that there are just millions of trees, tall, skinny, very little branches until you reach the very top. And there's not much underbrush, but there is a low-lying perpetual fog, a almost forever dusk, as it is a little dark and ominous in the 1,000-acre woods. And we see Winnie the Pooh traveling in the 1,000-acre woods with some purpose behind their step. Pooh, where are you headed first?
I think I would be going to go check on my friend Rabbit. I heard he was making a stew for me.
You head over to the hole in the side of a hill that you know Rabbit lives in. And the first thing you notice is as you're coming up to his home, your normal heightened bear senses, you don't smell any food on the air. And as you poke your head inside, you don't see Rabbit. Don't see anyone.
Go over to Piglet's then. Piglet's does have better kitchen cutlery.
Head over to Piglet's. As you make your way, strange, you're not hearing the sounds of your friends hanging out and just doing random little adventures and playing games and the normal things that you all used to do in the Thousand Acre Woods. There's no sign of anyone, really. And then you make it to Piglet's house. You see that the door is ajar.
They're going to surprise me. Something. I guess I'll play along.
As you step inside of Piglet's house, slowly opening the door as it creaks. Make a perception or investigation check.
A modified 10 on perception.
Modified 10. Okay. You're not noticing a ton, but in the sense that it almost looks like Piglet's moved. You're noticing that there's not much in here. It looks very bare bones, even to the point of it looks like some of the decorations have been taken down, like normal little pieces of decor. You find a single honey pot that seems to be completely empty, dried out almost. And you find inside the honey pot, as you tip it over to look inside, a classic Pooh move. You find a note. It hits you in the face. And as you begin to read this note, it looks like it is written in Piglet's hand. And as you look at it, the note reads,
Dear Pooh, listen, buddy, you're my best friend in the whole dang forest. I hope you know that. That'll never change, alright? But listen, ever since Christopher Robin started getting older, and then, he left, it was just us. And one by one, everyone decided to pack up their things and get out of here. And I didn't want to go anywhere. I wanted to, stay with everybody forever, but you got magical powers, and Eeyore's always real sad still. Rabbit is so smart. I don't know. I guess it's just time to move on. To grow up. Whatever that means. But listen, here's a way that you could still get in contact with us, whenever you're feeling lonely. And the rest of the note is essentially like how to cast the Flock of Familiars spell.
I think in that moment, internally inside of Pooh, there's just like a dam that breaks that was set up there as like the coping defense mechanism when, a lot of the people were already beginning to leave the woods to go move on with their lives. That was denial, and that was the barrier that they set up as, the realization that Piglet is now gone has fully broken that dam as this intense wave of sadness, pain, anxiety just wash over Pooh like honey when it misses his mouth. And it washes over him and starts to fill into parts that he didn't even realize he could feel pain or sadness on him. And externally, as they just stand there with all of these feelings and things happening, they let out a sigh and they just go, "Oh, bother."
And with that, we are whisked away back to our current time period where you are falling backwards. And just as you're about to, I think there's a shot in Euphoria. For some reason, this is where my brain goes. I think there's a shot in Euphoria where you're about to hit the ground, and it's the perfect timing transition of you hitting the ground, teleporting, winding up back on the head next to Zorro. And there's a brief non-verbal moment between you and Zorro of this. I'll let you two define what it is in actuality, but almost just a small moment for Pooh at least, of you're not alone. Maybe not Piglet, but at least there's other people here who have similar values as you do.
Hello, friend. How are you doing?
Incredible. And with that, we head to... Go ahead and describe what Alice looks like and what she is doing.
So Alice is a human woman. She's probably about, I don't know, 5'6", 5'7", not that tall, but not a short little girl either. She is looking kind of sweaty with like some dirt streaks down her face right now. This has definitely been quite the effort. She has long black hair with a big fringe bang, and she actually wears a dark purple bow that has been coming untied during this battle, so her hair is a bit of a mess. She has studded leather armor on over a very Victorian period era gown. So she's wearing like a bodice with like a dress with mini skirts and a petticoat underneath. And that is mostly all black with like some purple and blue diamond checks and like chevron patterns, almost like a garish mix of patterns together. She has this kind of like dark black makeup that she paints on, almost like jester style, that comes down under her eyes, similar to like teardrops or something. And she has this look of pure concentration on her face as she's staring at the giant gorilla trying to cast polymorph on him.
Oh, incredible. What does it look like as you're like summoning the power for this spell?
Yeah, so
like not the actual casting, but just the harnessing of energy.
Yeah, so she just has this like concentration on her face, and she's almost like muttering words under her breath, so her lips are moving pretty quickly. And this like purple red, almost like smoke starts to swirl around her fingers as she's doing this like little hand gesture and staring directly at the gorilla.
Incredible. As you hold that pose and are staring intently at the massive gorilla, we sort of zoom into the purple and reddish flames or smoke that are encircling your hand in this moment. And as we sort of zoom out, we just happen to see like purple and red, I don't know, teacups in a hedge, in a hedge somewhere in Wonderland, as we hear steel against steel, swords hitting swords, as you are in the middle of a Arcana training, but not just Arcana training and training with magic and stuff like that, but also training in combat in general, something you wouldn't normally get from your bard instructor, so you seek elsewhere. As we see that you are training alongside a tall, probably like 5'10", 5'11", and then even taller with the ears, we see a white rabbit in shining plate armor. A time paladin, if you will. If there was going to be a build, this is what I would have played if I was a player in this game. I would be the white rabbit, and I would be Chronergy Wizard Paladin. Anyway, be wild. And as this, like skinny but well armored and fast white rabbit knight is training with you, they say, "Yes, right. So, you must understand, you always want to, in the middle of combat, you want to make sure you survey your scene and analyze all of your different targets. All right? You want to focus on their weaknesses and then exploit them. Like this. Watch this." It does a couple little, like, it just does a couple of quick little moves. And then you see them, like press a button on the hilt of their sword, and they sort of reverse in time, and then they do it again.
That's
and they're
cheating.
Like, "Oh, no. Cheating is not using your abilities to the best of their abilities." Maybe I should change the wording of that abilities. I said abilities twice in that expression. It doesn't sound as good. Anyway, let's talk about magic. Alice, what's your favorite thing about magic?
It gives me power. There's something that I have that other people don't, and I'm in control of that.
Ooh.
That seems healthy. That's good. Yes, let's run with that. Very good. All right. Awesome. So, I know that we're supposed to do training for another 10 minutes, but I am late for another important. I accidentally double booked. I'm so sorry about that. I will be going very quickly, but also your bard training is going to start very soon, so just be ready for that. All right. Goodbye.
I'm always ready.
Rushes off as a tall, gangly man enters in wearing like the most kind of like the very stereotypical like what William Shakespeare would wear, like one of those big frilly collars and like those poofy sleeves that just end with like noodle arms, and he's got huge puffy pantaloons on where these just skinny ass tight legs wearing tights come out with little pointed curly toes. And your bard instructor, the Pied Piper, Felipe, appears as he says, well, it appears it is time for another lesson.
Good day, Pierre. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good, I guess. Talked to the White Rabbit, and we had to move up our training session for today, but c'est la vie.
That's
Que
okay.
sera,
I'm ready
sera.
to learn some new things. I'm curious.
Hell yeah.
What you have to teach me.
All right, let's get into it.
What performance does Alice participate in? Whether that's an instrument or it could be a different form of performance. Like, how do you do that? How would you inspire somebody, for example?
She does a couple of things. She likes to read poetry out loud. So she'll often like read short passages of poetry as inspiration. She has several weapons that she's proficient in. So she has a tambourine and a viola, for example. So she'll often play those like a little ditty. Usually it's something in a weird time signature, you know, like the 7/8 and stuff that are hard to follow to a beat, but that sound pretty good when you mix together.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So you and Felipe, the Pied Piper, are just having a little jam sesh. Are just kind of, obviously he's playing a flute, and you're on the tambourine, and the Pied Piper will say, you know, sometimes it is important when you are doing spoken word to change up your emphasis on the syllables. See? Oui? That's a different language altogether. Comprende? Fuck.
That's the character we saw earlier with the tight boots on, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But yes, we do many different types of performances. That is important. You could do a dance. You could read a poem. You could swallow a sword. I don't know.
What about if I wanted to use this deck of cards? And I actually have this spell, what's it called? Spray of cards. So it's basically like a magical cone of cards that go out and slice people.
All right. Well, I mean, it is pretty cool what you are doing with that cards. Seems like cutting people is less sort of...
Oh, well, that part, of course, doesn't need to be part of the performance. I've just begun to incorporate that as some of my training. I think it would be a very clever skill to use and something that my enemies wouldn't see coming. But, of course, you know, if you put them flat and then she just does like the quick like poker dealing move and then they all start flying in like a semi-arc, then, you know, we can have a bit more of a show this way. What do you think?
I think that is a great idea. I think even when life is on the line and your back is against a wall, you should still defend yourself with a certain amount of zest, some je ne sais quoi. You know, there was one time where I went to this village and I got rid of all their rats, and then they were like, we're not going to pay you. And I was like, get used to rats then, my friends, because I'm bringing them all back.
Yes,
And that
well,
town doesn't exist anymore.
It died.
I've heard that story before. I think it's quite entertaining.
It is a good story. I probably should figure out a way to lengthen it a little bit. That was sort of an elevator pitch. I need to add some inches, you know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, listen, Alice.
Yes.
It is very important that you... I just came from the king of hearts. He is paranoid. Keeps talking about some kind of dragon beast monster, some sort of strange aberration. He calls it Jabberwock or something like that. Yeah, it is a strange creature that makes you mad.
I've heard rumors of this. I've also heard that only Vorpal weapons will slay it.
I think that is true, although there is a rumor of another sword, not from Wonderland, powerful enough to slay the Jabberwock.
Really?
But that is over in Camelot, so I don't know. There are many strange tales across these lands. But let's get back to jam practice.
I pull out the viola this time and I play kind of like everything's in minor chords, so it sounds kind of sad even though there's a faster tempo to it.
Incredible. And the two of you practice away until we are teleported back to our current scene. You are charging up that polymorph spell, and as you cast it, what are you turning the giant gorilla into?
Into a tiny
Keeping in mind that there are two of your friends. Brilliant. Okay, cool. You cast polymorph onto the giant gorilla, and as its form shrinks into that of a tiny little mouse, Vanessa, Zorro, and Pooh, I'm gonna need dexterity saving throws. As
I would have given Vanessa one of my bardic inspirations as my bonus action.
Okay.
Because I know that she was up next.
Oh, she probably means it. Thank you.
And so it begins.
Nat one, baby.
Oh no.
I don't know if this is within the rules of it or not, but could I silvery barbs the nat 1? So it could be a better roll.
No, I'll take the nat one. It's okay.
I'm gonna say no because yeah.
Zorro is truly unprepared for this.
Whoa.
It's that cartoon look around.
Vanessa, what did you get?
A 13 with the bardic.
Incredible. And Pooh, one more time, what did you get?
Oh, Pooh got a 12.
Pooh got a 12. A 12, a 13, and a natural 1. Okay, brilliant, gang. We're off to a great start. Each of you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall. Not a ton. At max 30 feet. So as you fall, hit the hard stone of this pavement, of this ziggurat. The gorilla is transformed into a tiny little mouse, but when it does this transformation, and I'm home ruling this, somebody can go find Jeremy Crawford and cry about it, but I'm gonna say that the way the polymorph works is it comes up like into like center mass is where the little mouse is. So then this little tiny mouse is now however many feet up in the air and just begins to plummet and fall. And as it hits the ground, it takes enough damage that would transfer over from the mouse, which obviously has 1 hit point. And it transfers over into the gorilla, who only had so many hit points left. And then lying there before you all, on its back, lifeless, is the massive gorilla, slain and defeated by these 5 legends. Congratulations, you are 1 step closer in your mission. I need everyone to make perception checks or investigation.
Can I get a tooth? I want a gorilla tooth.
You absolutely may grab a gorilla tooth. Yeah, for sure. It is like this big.
Did
Yeah.
we win?
We got him, buddy.
Okay. Okay.
Well done, everybody.
I got a 22.
Nat 20, baby, for a 23.
Let's go. No.
That's crazy. We haven't even gone to break yet.
These are
Three nat 20s.
That's a dirty little 20.
Ooh,
Oh,
That's a
filthy.
dirty little 20.
It's a dirty little
16.
20.
A 20 that's been around.
I got a sweet 16.
Incredible.
15
Alice,
for
what did you
Alice.
get? 15?
15.
Okay, brilliant. So everyone did pretty good. 15s or above. Incredible. Okay. I'm going to say everyone who got below a 20, you guys see that there is the way that the water is falling. If you guys aren't familiar, a ziggurat, at least in my understanding, is like one of those. It almost looks kind of like a Mayan or like an Aztec temple in the sense that it has like steps. You know what I mean? So it's still like a pyramid, but it's not like sheer face walls like in Egypt or something like that. It has like very defined steps. And that's where you were fighting this gorilla, was on various levels of steps. And as water is flowing down from the top, almost like a water fountain feature, like as if water is perpetually being pumped to the top of this thing and it is falling down its sides, forming these almost like wet walkways, but also like mini waterfalls in different areas. The people who rolled below a 20, you guys see that next to one of the stairs, covered in water, like the way the water feature falls, it almost creates like a waterfall. You can see that there's a gap. There's an opening beside one of the stairs. And it's being blocked. It's almost imperceptible. As the water is falling, you guys would have to like do that kind of like shimmy thing and like really squeeze, but you could go inside the pyramid using this little shaft. And as you all sort of shimmy your way down this shaft, Pooh Bear having a tough time of it, but managing to make it through.
It's the breastplate.
As you
There's no
through.
give in a breastplate. It just is.
That's what it is.
Steel.
It's the armor. You all make your way into this inner sanctum, this tomb that is covered in dust and detritus, dark and damp, water trickling from above. And the people who got 20 or above, you all find a treasure chest leaned up against one of the far walls, a magnificent treasure chest made of stone with a large emblem on the front of it that almost looks like a quill. A large, like, it just looks like iconography, like a little like metal thing that was fastened to the front of this. Like if it were a pirate treasure chest, there would be a skull or like a Jolly Roger. Where that would be is a quill, like a feathered quill, with like a single drop of ink coming out of it. And then Vanessa with the nat 20, you also see in a far corner of the room an individual, a body, maybe a past explorer, maybe somebody who found this and didn't live to leave this room, or just were attacked, or who knows. Without getting closer, it's hard to tell, but they seem to be like on the verge of decay. Like they are still skin and bones, but still covered in a thin layer of dust, like almost everything else in this room, although slightly less dust than most of the room. And with that nat 20, I'm going to say you can see the almost impossible, only with a monster hunter's training, can you make out the tiniest rise and fall of their chest, and they are breathing. In this moment, what would everybody like to do?
I tell everybody to just like stop, and nobody to move, and I point the person in the corner, but she's worried about traps or triggers for booby traps.
Can I
This is getting
just
curiouser and curiouser.
fly over there without touching the ground?
Just fly, it's fine.
I'm just gonna fly over there and also lay on hands.
You're going over to the body?
Yeah. Before I do lay on hands, I want to do an investigation check, like hovering, like just to kind of. I definitely
make
am.
an investigation check.
Sure.
Can I make a history check on the emblem?
Yes.
23.
23. Okay, 23 investigation check on this body. You're seeing an old man. It seems to be like his skin is almost leather at this point. Like he's not wearing too many clothes. He seems to almost only have like a very old and almost decrepit looking like leopard skin loincloth on. Long, shaggy white hair. This is an ancient man. Probably the oldest human you've ever seen in your entire life. Long, straggly white hair. Long, crazy wild man's beard of pure white, like snow-colored hair. No shirt or anything like that. Just looking so decrepit. And as you do this investigation check, and we'll say that you give them the lay on hands as you're not detecting any weapons or
Yeah.
like there's no malintent or anything like that. You do the lay on hands, and as this individual kind of stirs and sort of comes back awake, sitting and leaning up against the wall of the chamber, he looks up at you, fluttering above him, Watson, and says, "Well, what are you looking at, feller?"
What is this
Hell.
place? Is it trapped?
How did I get here?
How did you get here?
Well, no, it's not trapped anymore. Well, I came in here, I found it about a week ago, and then I stepped on a pressure plate. A dart dang hit me in the freaking throat there. I fell asleep.
Okay.
Hey, name's Tarzan. Nice to meet you, feller. How's it going?
Tarzan, yes. I'm Dr. Watson.
A pleasure to meet you, Dr. Watson.
I'm going to send word to my friends.
Ooh, your friend's here. Hey, friends. Name's Tarzan, king of the jungle.
Could Pooh Bear do a perception check on the chest to see if there's any potential signs of honey or traps?
The honey is a good
You
check. The honey is a
Honey
good
for
check.
You,
The honey will be the top priority,
Right, of
but
course.
if there happens to be
Naturally.
a trap,
And I got a 12 on that history check for the emblem.
a 12. You're looking at this quill. It looks kind of like an ordinary quill. It's hard to make any sort of connections to it, to any kind of like organization or league or anything like that, just because it is so plain. It's almost not unique enough. It's just
Okay.
an ink quill that has a little drop coming out of it. It's a little hard to make out. Maybe you need other things to put with it.
Vanessa wants to do investigation for more traps, things, and not with the chest, and not.
I will say that you're able to sort of check around and stuff like that. There's no more traps. It genuinely looks like Tarzan found the one trap and set it off, and it
Amazing.
is now expent. As you do see that he has a puncture mark, and there's a dart next to his body as he's just sitting there talking to Watson, just going, "Yeah, there's a bit of, I don't even know how I got up here. Why did I come here? Anyway, I'm Tarzan, king of the jungle. Nice to meet you."
Right? Yeah.
Pooh, what
Meet
did
you.
you get?
Well, yeah, I was actually going to ask if I could also do a flock of familiars to help me out here.
You may, yeah, absolutely.
I think, yeah. So what they'll do is, in a moment of mindfulness, kind of call back to their friends at the forest and pull up a little. It looks like a stuffed little piglet, pops down and materializes on the ground. Just a very tiny one, a little ticker bouncing on its tail, right next to him, and then a little rabbit just dancing around with them all as they all like climb up Pooh's legs and rest on their shoulder or on their head, and will help me out with this, hopefully, with this perception check.
Incredible. Yeah, Piglet waddles up to your the side of your shoulder and kind of just like leans against your face and just says, "Well, hey there, bud. How's it going?"
Oh, I miss you.
Well, I miss you too, bud. That's I'm happy to be here again. Hey, that guy in the corner looks like the oldest man I've ever seen in my life.
I thought he was dead.
He might be. And you turn over, you just see Tarzan talking to Watson again, just going, "What for? What are those wings for?"
I got a modified 20.
A filthy 20. With that, you are able to distinctly say that this treasure chest is not locked or trapped. Excuse me. That was the big one, right?
No, the big one was
also,
honey.
unfortunately,
The big one was the honey check.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
The big one was the honey.
Okay, we're good.
Lost Jen for a second. She's back.
What just
I don't know.
You
You're
good?
back now. Let's not question. Let's not look too deep into the face of chaos. Thumbs up. Okay. With that, you all have this treasure chest in front of you. Tarzan talking madness in the corner, babbling like an idiot. As only Watson at this point is even a little distracted, but it's just because Tarzan has done that thing that like baby birds do where they're just like, "Are you my mom?" And just immediately have attached himself to Watson and is just constantly like in Watson's ear just going, "Yeah, I ate a mango one time. Those have got pits. Watch out."
Right.
Just talking to you.
Oh, Watson, it looks like you've made yourself a new friend.
Oh God, take him, please.
He's yours now?
Sir, do you know what's in the chest over there on the other side of the room?
No, I have no idea.
Did you see it when you first
I got
came
here,
in?
started heading towards the chest, and then whammo, got hit with a dart.
Well, thank you for your
That'll
sacrifice
happen.
all the same.
Of course, that's why I'm here. King of the jungle. Keep it up.
As he just self-talk, positive self-talk to himself as he just goes back over to Watson.
Damn it.
You all gather around this chest. It is teeming with just the idea of intense age and history about it. It seems to be like built into the pyramid itself. Like the very stones that make this pyramid make this chest, and the chest is immovable. It's part of it. It has been like essentially mortared or like, you know what I mean? Like built-in bookshelves, but a built-in treasure chest. And so as you all go over to it and open the lid, inside you find several odd objects that at first glance make no sense whatsoever, as well as scraps, a parchment. And at this moment, I would like each of the players to open up a mail package that I have sent
oh
you.
I almost forgot.
Everybody breathe. We're doing it.
Amazing.
All right, it's happening. We're doing it.
Just the big one you said, right?
Just the big one. Yeah.
The
Be
package
careful, everyone. Don't dox yourself.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. Watch the labels. I can't do it. I can't do it live.
I'm only showing the side that doesn't have
Mhm,
the address on it.
mhm.
There's another address on the inside too, so just be careful.
Oh God, heard.
Oh,
So then we open the big manila one, right?
The big manila one you
Okay.
open. There will be a tiny manila one inside of that one. Obviously, you'll
There's-
save that for later.
Manilaception.
Yeah. The tiny
Something
manila
is
one for
jingling.
later.
What is jingling?
Who knows?
Can we see what else is in there?
this is dope.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else is what you find in this chest.
Okay.
What? This is the best
I
too.
thought this was a
Wow.
receipt.
Please be a magic item.
I
Great.
was like,
It has
damn.
amazing vibes.
Stop it. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Ooh.
Incredible.
The coolest thing ever, you guys.
Oh, what?
This is the coolest thing.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
This is really nice. Wow. Thank you.
You found an
more.
actual book.
Amazing.
I'm obsessed
Yeah,
with this.
I own the book.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to send you the whole book because I might reread it one day. But
So
also, I'm willing to leave a page out.
I can send you a copy, so when you get to
No,
that
it's
page,
fine.
you can
It's so
reread
fine.
it.
Oh my
my
gosh, these
goodness.
are matches. I'm gonna light an incense with this.
Incredible. So, because we're about to go to break, we'll go over all of the items, but I want to focus on the prophecy. So you all would have gotten scraps of paper that have numbers written on them in like permanent marker.
Yes.
Not that one, Taylor. That's a different thing. But there should be one that has permanent marker and has like a number circled on it and stuff like that. And one of you should have 2
At number
pieces.
4. Ooh, somebody special.
Does one of you have? Fantastic. It's Daniel.
That's
So Daniel, I think you have the first one and the last one.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. It's going to go in order. So we're going to start with number 1, which should be Daniel. And then whoever has number 2 will go. And then number 3, number 4, number 5. And then it should go back to Daniel for number 6. Okay? This is the prophecy that you all find in this treasure chest. Feel free to add as much gravitas to how you read this as you would like.
All right,
Oh
everyone.
boy, no pressure.
Of course,
Let us-
Daniel starts.
Let us begin. Butterfly in the sky. Thrice is high to escape the book. Upon the gods' faces we look.
Our free will attacked, so discover 3 legendary artifacts. The first is for those who are well read, used not to buy, but borrow instead.
Look for brass, but double meaning. Fun in the place for machining. Next, a legend that pierced the heart. One king dead, another did sword depart.
In the hands of one quite mad, where it's topsy-turvy and good as bad. Finally, a vehicle to join the sky. Above the clouds, higher to climb.
Middle of the woods, center of darkness, a path ill-advised for the heartless. Trifecta claimed, break through the ceiling, a new world, a new story revealing.
Leave behind our current state. Face the ones who illustrate. Well, what could this mean?
Incredible. As you all read the prophecy before you, and I will send you all out of character. I will send you all one copy that has the entire thing. No worries there. That way you don't have to all send it to each other and work it out yourself. But you all have this prophecy before you. What are each of your characters' first thoughts about either the prophecy as a whole or the prophecy piece that you specifically read? Just what is going through your character's mind reading these prophecies?
I think for Pooh, there's just like that immediate like thing that pings for them, especially on like the section of like middle of the woods, center of darkness, where it kind of calls out to them of like the 1,000-acre woods and like kind of this like almost like delusional sense of just like giddiness of just like, oh, maybe there's like something home, maybe I can fix home, maybe there's a way to like fix it all and everyone can come back.
Oh my god, my heart. Brass City.
Mm-hmm.
First thing Vanessa thinks of is Brass City, and she's looking for a weapon. Something that references a weapon is what her mind immediately goes to.
Interesting.
I think-
Alice is thinking that somebody, possibly like the Mad Hatter or somebody in Wonderland, has something that may not be as good as they thought it was. The vehicle in the sky is a little perplexing to her.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps something that we would benefit from that flies in the sky.
I think Zorro reads this and immediately is kind of captivated by the language revolving around books and like how books and it kind of alludes to like this thing about like authors or like fate being controlled and the idea of not being beholden to what others want.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of piques his interest.
Yeah, and Watson is kind of thinking like, we're looking for 3 things, 3 artifacts, and then the last half is like a riddle for him. Like the first is for those who are well read, use not to buy, but borrow instead. So I think that he's running that through his mind to see if that kind of triggers some kind of internal, like, subconscious mental thing of like I don't know. I don't know how everybody else does riddles, but I have to sit there and I'll like just keep grinding away at that same phrase over and over and try to figure out what words mean what they think they what I think they mean and what other possible meanings could be to be taken from this same thing. So there's just like in the mind palace kind of breaking each word down, trying to figure out what's going on with this first bit. Because it says specifically that it's the first one, so
That's very true. I think Watson, without even rolling, and when you're looking and examining everybody's pieces of paper and stuff like that, and their portions of the prophecy, I think what you would notice is that they don't seem to, like, the person who wrote this thing wasn't necessarily intending for it to be these quartets,
right?
But rather the quartets were just above board, an easy way for Justin to math out how to separate who gets what. So like there's parts that where the end of one would bleed over into the other. So it's very important that you look at them as a whole and not as individuals. And I think you pick that up. And there is a part of, there does seem to be a reference to time or an order, a series of operations. But as you all are looking over this strange scroll with a prophecy foretold in front of you of gathering items, talks of destiny and controlling one's fate, stories to be authored, and also a bunch of just random stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to take a short 5 to 10 minute break at this moment. And when we come back, we're going to see what else is in everyone's packages and also in the chest. Those are two of the same things. And we will continue on from there. So stick around, 10-minute break at longest, and we'll be back to continue this story being authored by us.
Hey gang, I'm Justin.
And I'm Taylor. We're co-hosts of the So You Want to Be a Dungeon Master podcast.
We're two neurodivergent friends who wanted to talk about D&D and tabletop games.
But more specifically, we wanted to focus on being a dungeon master.
We know that for many people, the idea of running the game can feel daunting and even scary.
So we wanted to help remove some of the barriers and fears that prevent people from getting behind the DM screen.
It's our goal to make everyone feel comfortable enough to try being a DM.
We've got episodes on session prep, world building, combat, homebrew, and more.
And we're able to bring all of this to you, gang, because we're lucky enough to be sponsored by Big Milk.
Justin, we are not sponsored by Big Milk. I don't even think Big Milk is even a thing.
Agree to disagree. Anyway, we have new episodes coming out every Wednesday.
Check us out on all the podcast apps. So You Want to Be a Dungeon Master. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at So You Want to Be a DM.
Or email us your questions, stories, or ideas over at soyouwannabeadm@gmail.com. For instance, you can email us your favorite way to use milk. Maybe it's as simple as cereal. Maybe
I have to put a stop to
this.
this. I have to. Justin, you can't keep inventing fake sponsorships. It's going to get us in trouble one of these days.
In trouble? Taylor, I think you're overreacting. It's not as if Big Milk is going to break down our door.
Justin, is there someone at your door?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Hello?
Are you Justin?
Yeah? Who are you?
We're the dairy detectives sent by Big Milk. You're coming with us.
What? Hey, get off of me! You can't do this!
Okay. Well, that was terrifying. So You Want to Be a Dungeon Master, everywhere you find podcasts. Check us out.
Okay. Gang, we're back. And the gang's all here. We left off with our literary legends finding this incredible treasure chest inside of a ziggurat in the middle of a jungle on Skull Island after defeating a 30-foot tall gorilla, finding an emaciated and the oldest version of Tarzan you can ever imagine in your mind's eye. Because what if Tarzan just kept living? Eventually, he just becomes an old man who lives in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, that's funny to me, Justin. And thus, he is born.
Iconic.
As
Everybody wants to
The
talk about his
players-
prime years, but they never want to talk about when he gets
love
older.
Exactly.
There is no cartilage
So-
in those.
Me too.
we come together after finding an incredible prophecy, of which I'm just going to reread in all of its entirety so that the audience can hear it one more time.
Hooray.
Butterfly in the sky, thrice as high. To escape the book, upon the gods' faces we look. Our free will attacked, so discover 3 legendary artifacts. The first is for those who are well read, used not to buy, but borrow instead. Look for brass, but double meaning, fun in the place for machining. Next, a legend that pierced the heart. One king dead, another did sword depart. In the hands of one quite mad, where it's topsy-turvy and good is bad. Finally, a vehicle to join the sky, above the clouds higher to climb. Middle of woods, center of darkness, a path ill-advised for the heartless. Trifecta claimed, break through the ceiling. A new world, a new story revealing. Leave behind our current state. Face the ones who illustrate. And in addition to this prophecy, our heroes also found just a bunch of hodgepodge random knickknacks that seem to almost call out to them as you're all reaching over into this treasure chest, pulling things out. I want to go one by one. We're going to use like our initiative order. So we're going to start with Vanessa, and I want to hear about the other things you found other than the prophecy.
Okay, so Vanessa will have noticed that on the back of the prophecy, there were things written, and she immediately knows that this is what she needed for her earlier situation, and she just quietly tucks that away. She'll wait for a private moment to see what that is. But when she had reached in over, trying to climb over Pooh and not like get in the way of him and his honey, trying to grab something, she grabbed a bracelet with a Spartan-like helmet on it and with beads that look like stone, perhaps?
More Nordic, maybe
Very
volcanic rock.
porous looking beads, if you will, on a bracelet. And she knows better than to put this on without knowing what it is or where it came from. But Jen is going to put it on. This is not Vanessa. Jen is.
Got it.
Vanessa knows better. Yeah.
I will offer to cast Identify on it for you.
Yes. Please.
All right. I'll do a ritual inspection, like look at it this way, and then I have like some weird like goggles that have like the multi flip down lenses that you can kind of like look at stuff real close. Yeah.
As you activate this pair of goggles, these glasses with multiple lenses, and take a closer look to ritually cast Identify on this bracelet, it doesn't appear to be magical in any in any way, but rather you are correct that those are volcanic stone.
Okay.
The beads themselves.
Okay.
The helmet, the little charm of a helmet, it appears to be, obviously Taylor would recognize this as Nordic, but we're going to say that Watson is able to sort of piece together that this is a very old form of helmet that probably has more of a connection to Camelot. But maybe even something that like predates aspects of Camelot, or maybe coincides with Camelot. Like, hard to say.
What would you call this item if you were to say put it in your inventory? What would you call that?
Volcanic bead bracelet.
Thank you.
Okay, and then after Vanessa, we have Zorro.
So Zorro has this bracelet right here, which has 2 red beads and then 4 yellow beads and then a clear white one at the end. And then lastly, we have don't think my camera will be able to focus on it, but it's a pack of matches here that have the speakeasy. Oh no, the easy speaker written on the front.
Clever.
I turned it around.
Yeah. Clever.
Threw me for a loop there. Didn't see that one coming. And so
I'm
Zorro
a really
goes-
good writer.
Zorro goes, interesting. I've heard this place. It's in the city of Brass. It's some form of nightlife, lounge club scene, but it moves around. It does not have a specific location.
Absolutely. Okay. You're 100% right about that. The bracelet is the odd part. You've heard of Zorro, you've heard of the easy speaker and stuff like that, but this bracelet is a little perplexing because it just looks so plain. There's something like complex in its lack of complexity, almost. Like, it's so strange that this item is in here. It's string and normal ass beads, like nothing special about this, except for maybe the order that they're in, or the colors, or some kind of signifying factor. Hard to tell without maybe another piece.
Would you let someone roll Arcana on it?
By all means.
I will
not the
say,
world's greatest
even-
detective.
Even with Arcana or something like that, it's not magical. Truly, it seems like it is similar to how Vanessa had like two pieces that needed to be together in order to complete them. It feels like that. It feels like this is one piece and you need something else with it for it to truly make sense. Okay. After Zorro, we have Watson. Watson, what have you found?
I found it looks like a jeweler's loop. A thing that you maybe examined. I don't know. It's just it's a weird magnifying lens. It's super wide.
Yeah.
It does flip images like that. Look, I'm upside down, everybody. Haha. and it has the word triplet on it. It's never show up. Yeah, triplet. Yeah, it says triplet. It looks like that might just be a brand and the zoom, but I'm not sure if maybe it plays into something. I don't know. It says triplet 30x-21 millimeters. So I'm assuming that's zoom and size.
Yeah, probably.
And then I also got this like dapper like money clip thing that has the theater masks on it, like the comedy and tragedy masks kind of like embossed on it. It's super hard to see, but it's yeah. And then inside of that was some weird folklore stuff. Kiss them in the ass formula against the evil blank.
Kiss them in the ass.
Kiss them in the ass formula. Yeah, kiss them with two S's. Not kick them, kiss them in the ass formula.
Well, my friend, I've got experience. If you I think that's one riddle I can solve here.
I like that it's kiss them in the ass and not like on the
Yeah.
Finally,
So-
something I can solve.
It looks like it's
not as effective on. Gotta go in.
it says this spoken formula is very similar to a German American spell blank. Was recorded repeatedly by the folklorist Reverend something that's also like redacted with permanent marker, and was published in his book Folklore from Adams County, Illinois. In quotations, if another redacted, if a blank comes to your house, say kiss my a blank blank, and it's a specific 3 times under your breath, and she can't harm you. German.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then the other one has some weird Norwegian up at the top. I'm not even gonna try. And something about trolls. First, a powerful holy person meets with the evil and turns away from the person who is to be protected. Next, the evil is sent to torment the sender's body and ruin all that he possesses. Wow. Yeah. This is some dark stuff on the other side. Leave the
Who
inner...
knows what it means?
Yeah, I have no clue. But that's...
Watson,
That's
Watson,
what
I'm going to be very honest with you.
Mhm.
Yours is way more depressing. I don't
You're not
I don't know why
wrong.
you picked those. I'm not. I'm just saying.
Well, this is good for looking at clues. It's very good
Oh,
magnifying.
very-
I thought the paper was money, if I'm being honest.
Hey, instinct. What can you say? Times are tough.
Okay, Pooh. What else did you find?
Pooh finds this little booklet, which me, Alex, personally obsessed with.
Part
on
of
the
that is
cover-
for Alex, for sure.
Yes, thank you. As it says on the cover, Invasions of the Monster Women. So, that is half scorpion. Claws.
Oh my god, amazing.
And on the inside, there are more monster women. On the inside.
Oh my god.
A bunch of empty pages. But then on the back is the code of the monster women. Which, rule number 1 is monster women love themselves and their monster bodies. That's right. Number 2, monster women support other monster women. Number 3, monster women do not like to be told to smile, but are happy to show their fangs. Number
Oh my god, I
4,
need this.
It's-
This is
I want
Yes. Number 4, monster women do not things monsters splained to them. Number 5, monster women silence catcallers and drink their blood. Number 6, no matter how angry mobs try to destroy monster women, they will come back even stronger.
Incredible. Pooh, as you're looking through this small, strange book about monster women, feeling a sense of support and sort of just respect, I suppose. You are flicking through it, and you tell the others that it's a blank notebook. Is it 100% blank? As Justin quickly is like, "Fuck! Did I put the?"
I think Pooh thinks that, and then as they're about to say it, page appears as they're flipping through, and it clearly is not fully empty, as Alex just now realized. As there is a drawing with words on top of it, so the drawing looks like a cutout or like a layout of like a basketball court with some O's and X's, so like some like a coach was maybe drawing up some plays here, and that's written in pencil, but on pen on top of that is the words scratched in: how heavy is helium in honey?
What? Huh. Huh.
Strange.
As that puts as Pooh Bear
Curious.
looks at this and is like, they don't have a high intelligence, you know, so it's actually, I take that back. They have a pretty high intelligence, but they think back on it, and it's not high enough for these words to make any bit of sense, except for the honey part. And they're just like, oh boy.
Incredible. With all of these objects now in hand, where do you guys think your first order of business will take you?
To these monster women.
They're at the library. I would say the library.
I mean, broadly speaking.
Probably
Alice, what did you get?
City of Brass, right?
That's the only.
Based on the order, it does seem like let me have everyone make investigation checks.
Sure.
Or some form of intelligence-based check on these
Daniel's
prophecies and
clue
these pieces
makes me
and
think
stuff.
That there's some
Am I
kind
familiar
of
help?
library.
Yeah,
Your familiars can help. Yes.
Dirty 20 for Alice.
Dirty 20.
You said this is investigation?
Investigation, yeah.
Okay, cool.
11.
Nat 20.
11.
Ooh,
Nat 20. Incredible.
baby.
22.
22. Did you say 30?
No, 4.
What did you say? 4. Okay.
No,
They sound so similar.
Zorro
Same
is so
thing.
tired.
Same thing.
Zorro is exhausted.
Okay. With those checks, before I get too deep into it, because I completely spaced. Alice, also you have other things other than the prophecy. What
Yes.
else did you find?
I got this metal T-shaped bottle opener.
Oh, yeah.
With the top, the hilt has the club and the spade, like from a deck of cards. And it says the ambitious card casino on it.
Incredible. Alice, you are looking at this key. The things you're noticing about it, obviously the deck of cards sort of motif, the reference to a casino. It's hard not to think about the monarchy in Wonderland, to not think about the House of Cards.
Right.
You would know that there has been a moment, the past couple, let's say like month or two, the royal family, the queen and king, haven't been seen. They've canceled events, which is not like them. They haven't been in public. They've been sending missives and sort of declarations of different, changes and to let people know that they're okay and stuff, but they haven't actually been seen in a while, and it is strange.
I also wonder what this key unlocks. Seems to fit a very specific kind of door.
Really specific. So, with those investigation checks, you're all looking at the prophecy as well as the different things that you have. You do believe that the first place to start would be the City of Brass. Not only is it mentioned before they mention the first is for those who are well read. Use not to buy, but borrow instead. And then it immediately goes into look for brass, but double meaning. Fun in the place for machining. And then the next word is next, comma. So if you're just following it the way that you think that it should be followed, that first chunk, you're looking for something that, it does have a connection to libraries in some way. It could be a library, it could be something else that's related to libraries, but you do think that the City of Brass is a good place to start. It's also the closest to where you guys are currently in Skull Island. Not to mention there are several clues individually that connect to things in the City of Brass. You have, I guess we'll get to it, but Vanessa has a little clue that she's going to be deciphering in order to find some sort of potential location. And we have Zorro with this matchbook from the Easy Speaker, a nightclub that moves locations and has an air of secrecy to it and stuff like that. Not to mention, Dr. Watson, you not only are based in City of Brass, like your home, but you also have therefore connections in City of Brass as well. For example, you know that you guys have a huge new leg of the journey ahead of you. This mission sent forth from King Arthur to investigate these things. You've just found this prophecy that foretells of finding 3 different items and stuff like that. Your journey just you're hitting overtime heavy on this job for sure.
So
double expenses.
As such, you know of an alchemist and a scientist in the City of Brass who just goes by Frankenstein. You would know that their alchemy shop is called the Modern Prometheus.
Question, GM.
Yes,
Wouldn't the city of Brass also be where Zorro lives?
probably.
Okay.
There's probably a couple of you. Like, that's probably where Zorro is maybe based out of.
Yeah.
And maybe even Vanessa Helsing.
Mm.
It's possible is also based out of the city of Brass somewhere. If not, there's suburbs around the outside of.
Yeah, I think
Brass.
the big city would fit the vigilante.
Probably a little bit more. Incredible. So we actually fast forward a little bit. You all are moving along. You take a ship, like an old sort of, it looks like a sailboat that's been retrofitted with some steam engines, like, that have been like added on to a very not mechanical at all sailing ship, and it's a little haphazard, it's a little janky, but like it gets the job done as Captain Ahab ferries you across from Skull Island to the mainland of the public domains. You guys hitch a ride and eventually make your way to the city of Brass over the next like couple of days that travel takes. So you all would have healed up. You're back at 100% of all your abilities and spell slots and everything like that. Plenty of time for Vanessa to decipher that clue. So talk to us about Vanessa doing that.
So Vanessa, not knowing if what happened before the giant gorilla was related to this or not, she would want to decipher this in private, finding a little corner where she can hunch over, and she will go through the cipher, and as ciphers are done, coordinated with the page in the book that she had slipped and secured, and she finds one word: sanguine, and she thinks she knows what this is in reference to. The Sanguine Church that is known worshippers of Dracula.
100%. The Sanguine Chapel in the city of Brass. An organization that is like dancing a fine line between clandestine and secretive, and also kind of testing their limits with how public they can be about certain aspects of their organization or their faith or whatever it may be. Different people worship Dracula differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we all arrive in the city of Brass, 5 heroes, shoulder to shoulder, entering into this massive, huge city, bustling with people. There are sounds coming from every direction. You hear the humming of electric streetlights that are very early in production. You hear horse-drawn carriages being brought through on cobblestones. There's people talking all over the place. High traffic. All different kinds of stores, shops, and residential areas throughout the city. It looks like they're kind of like on the verge of steampunk. Like, it's not too technologically advanced, but it's like just getting there. They're at like the peak of what it could potentially like domino effect into, as it is dark. It is, covered in like soot and grime, just kind of dingy. It very much has that like Victorian London Jack the Ripper sort of ambiance about it, but with like a little nudge in the technology department towards this sort of steampunk feeling. And as you're all traveling through, we'll say that by the time you've gotten into like the center of the city where all of the main thoroughfare is, it is about 3 p.m., 4 p.m. ish. Is there anywhere that anyone would like to go specifically?
Yes.
Obviously, you know about the Easy Speaker. That's going to be a pretty important place.
So I think in order to prep for that, Zorro knows he's going to have to go home and try to use his connections through his secret identity to try to get a better grasp on this location.
I think
On the location.
I think there's a place for Pooh that's going to be integral to being able to kind of like get that jumping off point to being able to like ensure that they're going to be able to like get going on these clues and being able to like really move forward with this investigation. And I think that's going to be a cafe for a nice honey roll.
Absolutely.
I actually
Absolutely.
think similarly, Alice would assume that a good place to get information in any new city or place that you haven't been to in a while is to go to the local watering hole and sit amongst the locals and have a beverage.
Yeah, I think
For sure.
Pooh would go with Alice still.
I think we could get both a honey roll and some mead for you, Pooh.
Oh, I heard those have honey in them.
I think you would enjoy it quite well, actually. It is a honey wine after all.
Please,
Quite delectable.
lead the way.
Incredible. Vanessa and Dr. Watson.
Yeah, I'm inclined to go home myself, and either that or the library, like the local library branch, just because there's mention of a book. When you think of book, you think library. That's the most books usually. So, but the oh wait, and it says not to buy but to borrow instead. That screams library.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think I'm probably gonna wind up just going straight to the Brass City Library.
Okay. Sounds good. And Vanessa?
Is the location of the chapel known?
It's known. To you, at least.
Then that's where she will go forth to.
Okay.
I kind of put my hand on Pooh's shoulder and I look at the rest of the group and I say, well, fellows, you can meet us at insert name of tavern here once we know it. I'm sure we'll see you shortly after you've gone about your other duties.
We can meet there, and I will offer my place if you all need more of a safe house location as well.
Is it quite spacious, your place?
There's plenty of space, yes.
Incredible. So, our heroes agree to meet up, ideally at the Easy Speaker, but we're going to have to figure out exactly where its newest location is for the evening, as it seems to be a important place for further investigations. In the meantime, the party splits up.
Immediately.
Immediately. All go different directions.
Making it more difficult for you.
This is how we do it. Okay.
Roll the sleeves.
First, we are going to head with let's do Zorro first. Zorro, you are heading home.
Right. So it is.
Describe to us what your home looks like.
Yeah, so it is on the ritziest, richest side of the city of Brass, the tallest, most elegant building possible, and it's just the top 5,
Penthouse?
6 floors are one big penthouse. Just excessive amounts of you could fit multiple families in there. That is an absurd amount of wealth. And as he goes through the alleyways and all that sort of stuff, uses his mask of many faces to disguise himself to look like his normal clothing attire. So he's got a nice bright pink polo shirt with just some nice khaki colored slacks and some
Collar
loafers. Yes, collar popped, and just walking in, sees the bellboy, goes, hello everyone, how's it going?
How's it going?
It's been a very long day, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah, I hear it. Yeah, definitely.
Doing well today, Benny?
Glad you're in town again.
I had to do a little bit of traveling. Had a couple of yacht parties. Got a little wild.
Very cool.
in the
Yacht
jungle.
parties. You meet anybody? Special?
Oh, come on now, Benny. A gentleman never kisses and tells.
That's why I'm asking you.
Exactly. Anywho,
We joke.
I gotta get upstairs, and then he kind of gets on the elevator, and just like immediately, it's just like, as his body is just sore. Because again, it's just like he is a normal human being, even though he has these magical powers. But like all of this combat stuff takes a toll. So he will go up to the top floor of the loft and just kind of take the load off, fix a glass of whiskey, and try to sort through to make some calls about, like, hey, I'm trying to go out and party tonight. What's some good spots? And just start trying to get in contact with people to try to find the easy speaker that way.
You're calling around a little bit. There is a woman who would definitely know, but there's a complicated relationship there. She has met both sides of your identity,
Right.
but doesn't know. Like, she's not.
Yeah.
She has met. Is it Alejandro? What is your civilian name?
Alejandro de la Vega Freeman.
Alejandro de la Vega. Incredible. She has met Alejandro. She has also met Zorro. This woman's name is Jacqueline Hyde.
I flip through the little Rolodex and I call as Alejandro.
Calls Alejandro. Phone rings a little bit, and then picked up on the other side, you hear, "Well, bless my stars. Is this Alejandro?"
It is. How are you doing? It's been a while.
I'm doing fantastic. My goodness, how long has it been?
Oh, it's been a few days or a few weeks. It gets a little blurry. I've been out of town doing this yacht party. It was crazy.
Oh my goodness, another yacht party.
Yeah.
You're always going to yacht parties.
I like to travel around. What can I say? But listen, Jacqueline, I had a question. I was in town. I wanted to throw a big shindig, and I keep hearing about this place called the Easy Speaker, and I heard it's a good place to have a good time.
Oh,
Especially,
yeah.
trying to spend some money.
Definitely. Yes, the Easy Speaker. Yeah, that's Dorian Gray's new place. He's been sort of fundraising, and he's the money man behind that little shindig on wheels, as it were. Best guess tonight, I think it's all in the old oh goodness, it's in that old warehouse where they used to make jars.
Right.
The jar factory.
Yeah.
After it closed down.
How could I forget?
It's right there. That's why they say you're gonna have a ball. If you're here, you're gonna have a ball.
If you're here, you're
That
gonna have
is
a ball
a hyper
with the jar.
specific.
Very specific. Oh,
Justin.
My goodness.
What?
But we should hang out as we do as friends sometime.
As we do as friends.
In that moment, can I make an insight check to remember which of my identities had a more intimate relationship?
You may do an insight check.
Because you cannot remember.
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on. Let me see what I add to this bad boy. Let's see if we can up that a little bit. 14.
14. I would say with a 14, that's high enough to get a general idea that you think that
Alejandro has a closer relationship in terms of time spent.
Mm-hmm.
Zorro has had a slightly bigger impact in a faster amount of time because he rescued her at one point. So there's that sort of like, I've known Peter Parker my whole life, but Spider-Man fucking saved me.
You know,
So there's a little bit of that going on.
Just, you know, catch up sometime.
I think we should. If you want, I can. Maybe I'll meet you tonight at the Easy Speaker.
Mhm.
I'll take your silence as a resounding yes. I can't wait to see you there.
All right. Yes. See you. Toodles.
All right, toodles it is. And she hangs up. And your heartburn returns. An intense anxiety, knowing that Jacqueline is definitely going to be at the jar factory where Easy Speaker is currently being held.
So yeah, knowing that Zorro is then going to make the decision that he's going to show up at the Easy Speaker as Alejandro.
Roger that. We cut away from here and we head to the City of Brass Public Library as Dr. John H. Watson walks up the steps to the main doors of the public library. Sherlock on your shoulder, owl familiar. And from there, as you enter in, Watson, what are you doing?
I'm going to begin research on this riddle because there's a lot of bits to it, not just this artifact, but it says 3 legendary artifact. The first is for those who are well read, use not to buy but borrow instead. So it's might be a particular library book that I'm looking for. I don't rightly know, but I am gonna try to at least do some kind of either investigation or history or something to basically just sit down and actually start doing the research required to kind of piece these little things together.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make either a history or an investigation check. As you find an empty desk in the quiet area of the library and sort of set out all of your parchments and stuff like that and begin examining the specific wording and punctuation and anything that could be important of this prophecy.
I got an 18.
18 on history or investigation?
I will do history. I will do history in the library.
Okay. You're thinking, as you're looking at all these words and breaking them down and stuff like that, what you're picking up is the first is for those who are well read, used not to buy, but borrow instead. So whatever this item is, the item is used not to buy, but to borrow.
My library card.
And in that way, nailed it. You don't use a library book to borrow.
Right, no.
And
but
you could make the argument that you use the library, but it's like, it doesn't feel like the item that you're looking for, this artifact, is like going to be a whole location.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of write that off the list. And then you remember library card.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do that, you truly think you've figured it out. Using your magnifying glass.
The world's tiniest magnifying glass.
It truly is. It came from a murder mystery box.
I love it.
So did a lot of those items, actually. But so you can head over and talk to the librarian here.
Mm-hmm.
The librarian you see is it's very strange because this individual, you're used to this, but like for the audience, this would be a little strange. It has like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of moment because you see a black, almost like a cartoon cat, black and white, standing behind the librarian's desk with a pair of glasses on, and is just kind of sitting and kind of just like literally twiddling their thumbs, bored out of their mind, and is just sitting there. Do you think you've been to the public library before?
1,000%, yeah.
You would know this as Felix the cat.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Watson, how's it going?
Yes, Felix, I had some questions. I've recently been out doing some investigations, and I came across the most peculiar rhyme regarding what I believe to be is the library, a library card, a specific library card, maybe, or just all library cards in general. I don't know, but it's connected to two other artifacts. Do you know of anything about the library cards, or how they're made, maybe, or where they come from? Is it really just a laminated piece of
most
paper?
of the library cards we give out to customers, they're just laminated pieces of paper. Nothing too special about it. Frankly, we give them out for free. We want people to read, right?
Right. So
you must be looking for something more special.
Right.
Something. And
is there anything?
Go ahead and make another history check. Because Felix rolled really well, you can have advantage.
Awesome. It's a 15.
Total,
yeah.
Okay, 15. With a 15, you and Felix look through a couple of books. This happens over the span of like an hour or an hour and a half or something like that. You're looking through different books and texts and stuff like that, and you do discover legend of a library card that is unique, that is magical in its own right, and has an impressive it's the library card,
right?
And there is only one. It is incredibly magical, but there's no mention of what it can do. There's no specific mention. There's like one half of a sentence that vaguely references it being needed to be combined with other things, which you think is like, you're on the right track. This is the part of the trifecta that the prophecy mentions. But that's kind of as much as you get.
Okay.
Is that there is, you're 100% right. You figured out what you're looking for. Now it's just a matter of finding out where to look.
Okay.
But you feel very confident that there is a singular library card laced with magical energy.
All right. Well, thank you for helping me find all this, Felix. I'll got to go catch up with my friends. I'll be back, I'm sure.
All right. Take it easy, buddy.
And you leave the public library and leave Felix the cat to being bored once again. From there, we head over to let's do the cafe first. So we have Alice and Pooh. You guys make your way over to a kind of simple tavern. It looks relatively like simple. It has like an outdoor seating area. It looks like the kind of place that's like a bistro and bar kind of thing. Like they have food and they just happen to have like alcohol on the menu, but it's like food first is kind of like the way that the vibes that this place is giving off. But you manage to go inside and you see a incredibly skinny and like just bony individual with a massive like hooked nose and very strange like old school looking hair that's kind of like slicked back and tied into a ponytail that has like a ribbon at the base of the ponytail. And on the little name tag, it says, "Hi, my name is Ichabod." As you see this, like, just so, like, gangly looking individual behind the counter looks at you all and says, "Yes, how may I assist you all? What will you be having in our fine establishment? Known as Honey Cakes." That's the name of the place.
Alice, what was that drink called again?
Oh, yes. Do you serve mead here, sir?
Oh, of course, of course. Absolutely, we have mead here. 2 servings of mead right away, of course, of course. Any delicacies, pastries of the like?
Almost
We have
certainly.
danishes, we have eclairs, we have donut, we have macarons and macaroons, which are distinctly different.
Do you have any rolls?
My God, we do have honey rolls and honey cakes. Which would you prefer?
Could I both?
You absolutely could have both. Incredible. And for
Do you
you,
happen
miss.
to have any tarts back there?
Oh, of course we have tarts. We have tarts of all flavors and types. We have strawberry, blueberry, guava, dragon
I'll take
fruit.
a cherry tart, please.
Cherry it is. All right.
Delightful.
You see, he looks ever so slightly crestfallen that he wasn't allowed to continue naming fruits. And he
I can
moves
see where I
on.
was going.
He goes behind the thing. He pours you each a glass of mead, and he gets you a honey cake and a honey roll and a cherry tart. And you both sit down. As you're sitting down, enjoying your delicious treats, Pooh, they're both incredible. You feel like the only difference is the consistency of the actual, like, bread.
Amazing.
One is more cake-like, one is more bread-like. That's the only difference. Both delicious. The mead is good. Maybe
How
not
good?
as much of a honey-forward note as you would like, but it's good. I mean, how does Pooh feel? What do you think, Alex? Do you think Pooh would like mead?
This being the first truly like liquid honey like vehicle that Pooh could ingest, I think would be revolutionary in its own way to Pooh, as like the closest they ever got was just like puncturing a beehive and then having the honey just pour down, you know? So this I think would just be like absolutely just like alien to them. This is just like a whole new world to them. And I think it would like maybe unlock a little something inside of them of being like they're gonna need more mead.
Mm.
Do be careful
Incredible.
with those. They're small but mighty.
I'm gonna get more. Do you want some?
I'm still working on this one. Thank you, though.
Okay.
You both overhear conversation happening between 2 individuals who both look rather young. One a little bit younger than the other. One almost, 2 like lads, we'll call them, sitting at a table, just the 2 of them talking to one another in the honey cake shop. Let me have the 2 of you make perception checks to sort of eavesdrop, a little bit of eaves peeping.
That's a 9.
17 for Alice.
17. Okay. Yeah, Pooh, you're busy.
Sounds of
You're
scarfing
occupied.
from Pooh.
Lots of scarfing. And Alice, however, you overhear these 2 individuals talking. One is wearing, some would argue, too much green, a monochrome green outfit, hat, tunic, tights, red hair, sitting alone. And across from him is a small wooden boy. And the both of them are talking, saying, "Listen, bud, we're gonna get in. It's gonna be fine. Don't even worry about it." "No, that is the thing. You do not understand. We look like children. They will never let us into the easy speaker. It is too difficult for us. No, listen, bud.
It's gonna be fine. I'm like hundreds of years old. You're made of wood. I mean, technically, what's the problem? I think it'll be fine. Well, that's the thing. You know, they are super judgmental there. Oh, no. I didn't know this. Let's go try anyway. And the two of them begin to get up to leave. What are you doing?
I look
If
at
any.
Pooh and I say, this might be our only chance to figure out where the Easy Speaker's new location is. I think we should either tail them, or perhaps ask them some questions, if you feel up to that. No talking. Okay, let's follow them then for a moment. I think that might be better anyways.
I think it'd be for the best.
You can take your honey roll with you to go too, Pooh.
Oh, wonderful. And they're gonna pull out like a little honey pot that's just empty, and then just like, just put it all into
That's
the...
so cute.
Incredible.
So Alice, is the plan to talk to them, or are you just following them?
We're gonna tail them. I'm gonna stay about 15 feet behind them and kind of see where they go through the town.
Okay, brilliant. You begin to follow them as they are weaving in and out of streets and alleys, and you continue to follow them. As you do, we cut away. We head to the exterior of a massive cathedral made of dark gray stone, stained glass that is predominantly red and black in coloration only. You don't see any other colors being used in any of the stained glass. From the exterior, the depictions of these stained glass, the artwork that they are creating, it's nothing that is like immediately sinister. It's just light enough to be able to get you curious and maybe step in through the front doors. Vanessa, you've been here before, the Sanguine Chapel. As you step in the two 15-foot, if not taller, two double heavy wooden doors, push them to either side, and as you step in, you see a massive cathedral on the inside. Pews made of stone with like red velvet cushions. There are like impressive different sculptures and gargoyles around the place, as well as in the back a massive altar with red candles that are lit and wax that has like built up over time, just bleeding down over everything. And you see a single nun up at the altar lighting candles.
So I think before she goes in, she's going to double check her pockets, her gear, make sure she has her flask of holy water, and make sure she has her crucifix stowed away, because she doesn't know what she's going to get into. And then she will approach the nun and say, "Good evening, sister."
As you say that, she turns to greet you, and there's a look of not expecting you, and so like an initial little bit of surprise, and then immediately recognizes you as you see Sister Wilhelmina Murray, dressed in a traditional black and white nun's habit, with the exception of she has a rosary around her neck. The beads on it are like a blood red. And the medallion hanging from it is not a cross, but rather a like a blood drop, like it looks like or it could be a drop of water. It really could be anything if it weren't like this dazzling ruby. And as she looks you up and down a little bit, she just claps her hands together, sort of nods gracefully towards you and says, "Ah, Vanessa Helsing, it is a pleasure to see you again in this fine home of our father. Please take a seat. Let us discuss."
She doesn't sit. She kind of like walks around.
Okay. You immediately dismiss that request and begin to kind of just like pace and walk around. The nun doesn't make any notion of you deciding not to sit. Not even a little bit. You can't tell if she cares or not. She goes and takes a seat in like the front pew. And as she sits down, she crosses her legs and she says, "So, Vanessa, please tell me why you have come on this evening."
Did you not summon me? Did you not have one of your kind put this in my pocket and she'll pull out the paper that she deciphered?
You pull out this piece of paper and are you handing it to her?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. She looks at the paper from your hands and she looks genuinely confused. She says, "Vanessa, I did not send you this missive."
She'll put it away, put it in her pocket, front pocket as close as she can to herself. And she'll continue to kind of walk around at a slow pace. She's not, she's just insisting that she's not going to sit. And she's looking around, buying time to think. And does she notice anything new here?
Make a perception check.
Nat 20 for 23.
Another one.
Listen, they're so well for me. These are all.
I think they're trying to get people to come back to D&D Beyond, so they're like, "Oh man."
Could you imagine?
Goodness gracious, could you imagine that? What a fucking marketing strategy. I guess someone in the chat keep track of Jen's rolls.
I can already see the
Three
clickbait
so far.
thumbnails.
I can do screenshots. That is crazy.
Crazy. No, okay. Nat 20. You're looking around the chapel's interior. You're not noticing anything new. There doesn't seem to be anything out of place or anything like that. What I will tell you is with that 20, you are seeing genuine concern from Wilhelmina. Excuse me. So I'm going to treat your perception check as a dual insight check also.
Okay.
Because there genuinely is nothing new in the chapel.
Okay.
So I don't want you to just waste that nat 20 on that. There really isn't anything new in the chapel. However, you are feeling genuine stress coming from Wilhelmina. You do believe that she is telling the truth. She did not send this.
Okay. She'll ask, "Is anything been going on recently?"
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, there is. There has been several strange occurrences across the entire public domains. It
Like
seems
what?
like forces are being moved or plans are being settled. It's hard to explain. It is a connection in the arcane workings, the spiritual essence around us. It is as if moves are being made on a chessboard that we cannot see. And yet we are feeling its influence.
Feeling in what way?
Vanessa, do you know how you have a connection to blood? As we all do.
We are not the same, but yes.
We are mortal beings. Blood runs through our veins, does it not?
Continue.
I, as head matron and sister of the faith, I have a deep connection with the shadows and with hunger. And in recent months, I have been feeling unquenched, whereas in the past, that was not the case. So something is happening. Dark matters turn the gears of fate behind the scenes, it would seem.
She'll contemplate, continue looking around, and then look up behind the altar, which I can assume there's a, religious figure of Dracula somewhere about, and she'll look at her and she'll say, what about the old bat? Does he have any play in this?
Oh, our Dark Lord, of course, has a part to play and has his own machinations, I am sure. The specifics of how he relates to this plot are uncertain at best right now.
I see.
But who's to say?
Well,
Whoever gave you that paper and some code to decipher it or whatever wanted you to come here. The question is why?
and you have no ideas on that.
I've never seen this page, this book that it comes from in my life. Taylor, are you raising your hand?
No,
No, you gotta
there's so
stretch.
many E's. There's so many E's.
Oh god.
It's not just stretch, it's stretch.
Amazing. So with that, Vanessa, you are feeling it is very strange. The idea that you were given this note, the way you were given that page, that seems normal. That it's normal that you would receive a page like this in clandestine fashions, just because that's how you get these sort of meetings and like these messages back and forth between the church and yourself.
Mhm.
But it makes no sense on so many levels to give you part of it and then hide a part of the decoder in a treasure chest in a hidden temple. How did they know you were going to go there? It makes no sense. Something is going on. You can feel your monster hunter senses are tingling, the hairs on the back of your neck raised, as you do feel like you have been wrapped into a prophecy. You have a bigger part to play.
Hmm.
You don't think that it was a coincidence that these two pieces have come together.
Right.
And with that, because we're almost done with episode 1, I'm going to fast forward us a little bit. You guys all come together outside of this rundown jar factory. Alice and Pooh, you have snuck up and followed Pinocchio and Peter Pan as they have entered in a small argument with the bouncer, but they managed to get in. And as you're sitting outside, kind of like waiting for your friends, the rest of you sort of gather up, having gotten like messages or missives from Zorro or some way of communicating to everybody that this is the place to meet. And as you're all outside of the easy speaker, you head inside. As you all head inside, well, actually, let's really quickly. Zorro, or should I say Alejandro, is this the first time you are appearing to this group of individuals as Alejandro?
Yes. So,
Incredible.
Yeah, and I would appear in I would rent a very expensive horse carriage to pull up and walk out of it and just get, someone opens up my door and I say, oh, thank you. And I just say to whoever the bouncer is, like, whoever wants to come in can come in here and get a free drink on me. It's fine.
Incredible.
Just kind of walk in.
You do see, you all see this ostentatious looking man exit a horse carriage limo stretch.
Oh my god.
As he gets out and he pronounces loudly to the bouncer, let in anybody, and I will provide them with beverages and such. You all following close behind, not recognizing this man, but appreciating his generosity all the same.
May I make a check as
Actually-
the world's greatest detective?
And another detail too is that my irises are regular brown hazel.
Not
They're not
purple.
purple.
Okay.
I want to do a perception check on what's the word I'm looking for? Like the the dress code here. Like they're wearing something
Pants.
so clearly.
Pants are generally
Pants.
recommended.
Maybe.
Maybe.
No pants.
Yeah,
no
I mean, I
shoes,
can
no
just tell you
toga.
what the dress code is. You don't have to roll for it. I don't want you to roll bad and then have a fashion faux pas. What I will tell you is that you do see that there are certain people in the bar who aren't wearing as many clothes, and you think that it is a similar situation as Pooh is having, where it's just not as big of a deal. But all of the humanoid
Daffy Duck's up there.
people-looking people are wearing clothes. It does look a little bit like speakeasy sort of vibes. Like there's some, dresses and pants and nice dress shoes and like some decent wear.
As like a way to fit in, they're gonna cast Disguise Self, but not truly change a lot of themselves, but the breastplate that they're wearing, so that it now becomes kind of like a one-piece bathing suit that's black with like yellow stripes on it, with like
Hot.
Amazing.
a little bit of like a white puffy collar on the top, and then near
Just the cutest little bumblebee.
and then near the back
world's
end,
cutest
there's
bumblebee.
a cute, just little bulbousy poof off of it with a little tail at the end of it, as they're just walking around like a little bumblebee.
Oh my goodness. Pooh.
Amazing.
You look incredible. I actually was going to say just real quick that I wanted to mock Alejandro. Not necessarily viciously, because I don't want to do PvP damage here, but I'll use some cutting words towards them. Also not literally, because I don't want to do damage to them.
I just kind of look and go, "Oh, don't worry, we're all friends here," and kind of give a wink, and then head inside.
Do we know that strange
Incredible.
fellow?
May I do my perception /
You may.
history check
You
now?
may. Yeah, go for it.
All right, go. Hey, that's really good. That's a 19 on the die, plus my beautiful...
Want to go up against my deception? No, I'm playing.
That's a 24. I mean...
Go.
Yeah, Daniel, roll either perception or deception, or persuasion or deception. You don't have to tell us which. And then 20. The 24 is the number to beat. What
26.
does incredible?
I rolled a
Wow.
26 on deception. I got a 15 on a die plus 11.
Jesus.
Incredible.
But I'm trying
You
to make
did
it
wink.
very. Yeah, I did wink. I want to make it very clear to some of them to eventually catch on that
Okay.
this is Zorro, but I am putting on the performance of the rich bachelor
Of
here
a
to have a
lifetime.
good time. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, incredible. So we'll say, Watson, that's what you pick up. You pick
Okay.
up, this is Zorro, but he's incognito. Don't blow
Right.
his cover.
Right. Yeah. This is not my secret to tell.
Exactly. Now, as you are inside of this incredible establishment, you see that this entire warehouse has been retrofitted to have this incredible speakeasy take place. There are like Edison light bulbs that come down from above. There's a huge bar with a wall of different bottles of wine and liquor and beverages and stuff like that. You see that standing behind the bar is a gentleman who's incredibly formally dressed, has like an entire black like cape over, like they're wearing like a white what you would wear to the opera, kind of like just a white bow tie, like a tuxedo, but then has this massive cape and has one half of a white mask over their face, as the Phantom seems to be the bartender for this evening. Up on stage, you see a small sign next to the stage that says the main show tonight is the Barbershop Quartet, the Three Musketeers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Read the book.
I know.
It is.
All checks
I know.
out.
It's this all. This is yeah. I'm all about it.
You see that there are all different kinds of interesting characters around holding court, sitting at different tables. There's people dancing and stuff like that. Zorro, or Alejandro, you are quickly approached by a very dapper looking gentleman, a gentleman who seems to command the room, as he is like snapping his finger. You recognize a level of aristocracy that you know in yourself.
Right.
As you see him sort of snap fingers at servers and sort of go over to what seems to be like a hostess and kind of just whisper in their ear as they begin moving tables and stuff like that. As this gentleman with black hair and a black mustache, very fine waistcoat, approaches you and says, "Well, my good man, I can't say I recognize you. Oh, wait. I think I've heard of your exploits. Alejandro de la Vega Freeman. Is that right?"
That is correct. I've been away for quite some time, but I heard that this was quite the place to have a good time.
It certainly is. It absolutely is. Please, my name's Dorian Gray. Pleasure's mine.
Pleasure is mine as well, my friend.
Alejandro, would you care for a special brandy that I have in my office upstairs? I believe we have business to attend.
Why, of course.
You and I. It's become my understanding that, a friend of ours, and he, like, leans in close and whispers, King Arthur. A friend of ours put me in contact and told me that, you might need some help along the way. Information that is hard to find. I'm here to help.
Perfect. Just let me leave a message with the bartender, and I'll be right
course.
out.
Of course.
And I just go to the Phantom and I say, and I point out to the bartender.
Yes?
Hi. The one lady over there, send her a Bloody Mary. The other one, send her some mead. The bear, a nice honey whiskey. And then, don't know what a Sphinx born drink. A club soda with a lime.
All right.
And then just tell them
What an order.
upstairs whenever they get their drinks.
I will prepare those beverages for these strangers.
Thank you, my good sir.
Yes.
And the Phantom begins preparing those beverages to be passed out to the individuals you have requested as you begin to make your way upstairs with Dorian Gray to a beautiful study/library. It is actually 2 stories. As you step in, you enter through double doors, above which you notice a massive portrait of Dorian Gray. Along the second floor is all of these bookshelves built into the walls, but you don't spend time upstairs. You follow down to this large study. There's a piano, several different desks and stuff like that. And as Dorian begins uncorking a bottle of brandy and pouring both of you a glass, he hands you one and he says, Now, Alejandro, I understand you're on a secret mission given by King Arthur to potentially locate some objects. Am I getting warm?
Shakes the glass. Could be getting warmer in here.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Have you found any of them yet?
I kind of lean in and I say, stays between us, but we have located one of the items. The other 2 are being a bit elusive at the moment, but we do have one in our possession and safekeeping.
Brilliant. Well, considering that I have one of the other items, perhaps it's best if we join forces. Which item do you have, my friend?
But that deception check to work.
In this moment, can I just make a perception check around the room? Just to see, like, exits, anything like that? There's only one way in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Time for the Irish goodbye.
I say, listen, here's the thing. We just have to be very careful, because there's a third party at work. I'd rather not tell at this exact moment which one it is.
We're alone in my office.
I'm well aware.
I suppose you didn't come here alone, did you? What a shame.
and he is going to immediately begin to try and stab you with a dagger.
Oh shit.
As that is end of this episode
Oh,
of
no.
How
the public domain.
dare you?
Oh, come
Wow.
How
on.
dare you?
Time.
Rude.
That's
Tune in
Unacceptable.
next time to see what happens between Dorian Gray and Zorro as our friends receive some interesting specific beverages from the Phantom of the Opera. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please tune in next week. Again, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from September 5th today, all the way to October 11th. So 6-episode mini-series. Do not miss out, gang. And let's go around one more time and we can just say who you are and plug whatever you want to plug. And then we are going to get into Action Surge, our table talk post-session discussion, which, unless you're here for Twitch and you're seeing it live, you have to be a Patreon member to see that again. So thank your lucky stars that you're here. But let's get into it. I'm Justin. You can find us at Soyouwannabeadm pretty much everywhere.
I'm Jen, Cameroon Cleric on TikTok and Instagram.
This is Daniel. You can find me at Daniel the DM on YouTube and TikTok.
I'm Taylor. I'm the other half of So You Want to Be a DM. Like Justin said, you can find us pretty much everywhere now.
Pretty much.
I'm Alex. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as Pisces Moon Paladin.
And I'm Kayla. I am one half of the Potions and Potpourri podcast, a casual chat D&D podcast. You can find us wherever you get your pods, on social media as at Potions and Potpourri, and find me playing here and some other games across the internet.
Incredible. So again, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.